Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the season premiere of South Park, Mexican Joker. And I really didn't enjoy this episode, mainly due to the fact of the A storyline with Randy and Integrity Farms again. Now, I usually enjoy Randy going on his crazy ass escapades and everything, but this one just seemed rather kind of boring, and I was more interested in what was going on with the B storyline with like Cartman and Kyle and everything, which did link up to what was going on in the A storyline. So we opened the episode, and instead of the usual South Park kind of opening, we got the whole Integrity Farms thing. I'm like, okay, this is doing its thing. And we see that Randy is now giving tours and has pretty much bought up all the farmland around him and has people working for him and all that. And Stan's even doing stuff with the invoices. We get Cartman complaining about the state of the world. And it's just the usual kind of headline kind of stuff. Nothing really much done with it, but just to show Cartman in a malaise. And Randy just comes in, sees how's it going with Stan and the invoices and everything. Evidently, sales are down and all that. And he's like, I don't know why, but of course, we see that Randy goes off and he goes to Butter's father and finds out that he's growing his own wheat and that all the other people are doing it too. And this is pissing off Randy because he's like, you're messing with my livelihood kind of stuff. Eventually, they go to a town meeting thing, which is only just Randy and Stan, and pretty much has Stan spouting off bullshit points about like how all this is affecting his business and how it'll lead to improper irrigation and the drowning of babies and all that stuff. Is like, yeah, really good on there for you, Randy. And of course, since Randy is also pissed off at Butters' father, he decides to call Ice on the gardener because the gardener is the one taking care of Butters' father's weed. And this, of course, perks Cartman up because he's like, oh, detention centers? Ah, I thought the world sucked. Oh, you could do an anonymous tip on anybody? And then, see, Kyle has been someone that he's been complaining about, so that then leads us to the rest of our B storyline, where Cartman gives Kyle the chance to apologize, and he pretty much goes, fuck you, fat ass. And he sent Ice after Kyle and his family. We get this whole scene where his parents are taken away, Ike's taken somewhere else. He sees Cartman looking out the window. He's like, God damn it, Cartman. And he gets taken to a detention center. And they start going through like, they're doing everything to kind of get all the children acclimated. And pretty much it's mainly Hispanic kids. And Kyle's the only one there that's Jewish because they start doing a roll call. And he's like, that doesn't sound Hispanic. It's Jewish. And then they're like, oh, shit. And then he's just trying to figure out what's going on. He tries to pretty much get the people in the detention center to figure out and like correct their ways, pretty much saying, hey, because of what you're doing to these kids, you could potentially make a Mexican Joker, pretty much being the whole crux of the title of the episode. And they're all freaking out and deciding to try and figure out how to stop the Mexican Joker, and they don't understand what he's trying to convey to them, and they start like freaking electroshock therapying some of the kids, and they're like, what if this is the flashback? And it's like, alright, okay. And more of the jokes landed here for me in this storyline than in the Randy one, but since it takes up kind of less time and is less focused on, it's not given as much room to breathe and have its own kind of moments. So we get to the point where Cartman comes back into it, and he evidently got sent to the same detention center because he was bragging about what was going on and threatening to do it to Jimmy, and Stan found out and said, screw you, and did the same thing to Cartman. And he makes this whole play of like, oh, I didn't realize that this was like what went on with the Jewish people and all that. And I'm like, Cartman might be selling that, but I ain't buying it. He had stuff in the back of his mind. He little fucking asshole. And of course, since they're not having real luck with trying to get the people in charge of the detention center to change their ways, they are able to come up with a plan, and Kyle is like, okay, fine, help me. gather all the sheets. I need a pair of scissors. Shut the fuck up before I kill you, pretty much. And Kyle's plan was to pretty much cut yarmulkes and make it look like he's converting them to Judaism. And like, oh god, this sets off the one dude, and pretty much he kills all the rest of the people. It's like, hey, Mexican Joker, remember this. And it's like, there is no Mexican Joker in here. It's like, whatever, and runs off. This then dovetails into what we saw with pretty much this coordinated attack effort on the homegrown weed after Randy had a falling out with Mr. Tally that was... I understand they were trying to show their relationship, but it just devolved into them being like, like jokes about like being a Tal and whatnot that really didn't even like affect Tally or whatnot. Like, yeah, all right. And Randy going crazy and figuring out, hey, I'm just gonna like blow up all these people's homegrown weed and do a merger with MedMen and the corporations, because that's what he was doing before to try and force South Park to stop people from doing homegrown. And it actually works out. He gets more profits, and he essentially has a kind of Godfather-esque thing at the end where he's like, oh, yes, I was able to do this and get all this stuff back up. He's like, go ahead, call me a Tal. I was like, all right, you're a Tal. And that's pretty much where it ended. There really didn't seem to be any kind of escalation of jokes, really, for Randy's storyline. I mean, granted, at the end, we got it going up to 100 real quick, where he actually blew up a motherfucker that was going out to get his weed. But that's about it. Nothing was really examined within Randy, at least in this one, other than he's like a business owner who decides to sell it to the corporations and then goes like balls buster crazy and blows up people's homegrown weed. Now, granted, that chain of events sounds interesting, but the way it's presented and executed just didn't really fit with me. Not that I'm calling it completely and utterly bad, but it's like baseline and doesn't really jive up to the best that South Park can do. Definitely with the whole thing that was going on with the detention centers and Cartman and Kyle, if that had been brought up into the A storyline, I think that could have just went off crazy, because they know how to do Cartman and Kyle's relationship. They know how to do that antagonistic force and really mess with and escalate the joke to outside proportions into real hilarity that can really do no wrong almost. But this one, it was just like, okay, here's the B storyline. I was like, I kind of like this better. So hopefully we get kind of better episodes going forth from this season, because this really wasn't a good start, in my opinion, for this season. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.